Greetings, Commanders, this is Pagan Horde, please do the YouTube stuff, and today I would like to do something different. I would like to explore the mechbay system here that is new to this patch of Roguetech, and I think it's one of the best features that's ever been added. It adds a lot to the game. So when you go to skirmish and mechbay, it gives you the ability to do what you want and to just practice and build mechs and see everything that is available in the game. Now I've already made a pre-selection here because I wanted to focus on one particular mech at first. There we go, we're gonna add the primitive. Right now I want to focus on LRM and Artemis, but you guys can do this with everything and practice with every weapon. It's really worth it. So when you load this, you will be presented with a list of everything you've selected. When you go in mechs up here, those are the criteria that we've selected. Now I want to focus on LRM and Artemis, and one of the staple of almost all of my runs since I've been playing that game, and that's the dervish. I'm gonna show you why. Now in a lot of my playthroughs I went with this guy because we have start with the clan primitive. So we're gonna do that again. We're gonna take the primitive dervish and we're gonna make it better. Now let's just strip him of equipment and go max armor, because that's what you need to do all the time. And we're gonna talk weapon system in Artemis. So previously the LRM 15 clan was the shit, because at 3.5 ton it was half a ton less heavy than the 20s. If you look at the 20s and we want to do a 60 LRM build, it would be 3 times 5 tons, so 15. If we go to the 15 rounds, it would be the same. It would be 3 times 15 for 14 ton. However, now that we need to use an Artemis attachment to every weapon, that bonus or that superiority of the 15 no longer works, because you will need 1 more ton for 1 more attachment. So now 15 and 20s, it actually doesn't really matter. But I still think pardon me, why not? Interesting. I still think the LRM 15 is sexy on that mech. So I don't know why I cannot add it right now. Perhaps I just need to put back an engine. There you go. There you go. That was the thing. However, I still think this mech is sexy by having 4 weapon system distributed evenly. It's aesthetically pleasing. So now we're gonna put on the Artemis attachment. Yoinks, 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 and yoinks. And why this thing is so... Why the Artemis and why am I talking about it in the early game? It's because of all it brings to the table. So you have your 2 evasion pip ignore, which is ginormous in the early game where everything is fast. You have the chance to cluster for additional hits on the same place, and you have a flat out +1 accuracy bonus. So now that we have our 4 attachment, it means that we need to spend 4 tons instead of a fire control system that we used to have. However, the good part about this is that you can add a fire control system that will stack more accuracy bonus. Now you cannot use missile accuracy with it directly, which is a bit sad. However, you can use it with streaks and other stuff, which makes it great as well. So one thing that is a good choice is to add more range, 15% more range. But for this build, we're gonna go with the Predator, because the Predator will add plus accuracy at everything. So now we already have stacked +1 accuracy and 2 evasion ignore. And we're stacking it with +2 accuracy or +1 at medium, but it's going to be a lot of +2. So we're now at a flat +3 accuracy. Cool. Now let's see if we can just make the rest of this build sing. If you can axle it, of course you should. We're going to go with simple engine XL. As you can see, all the stuff that is available in-game is available here. So if you want to try weird stuff with science or LRM engines or whatever, now is the time. We're gonna give you a heatsink D double. You can see all the options that is here now, but right now we're just building a dervish that anybody could use right off the bat. That's the point. Advanced optic is always important. And I want to give you some armor. So in the case of this guy, you can use regular endo steel inner sphere. You don't need to add much more. And you can add regular armor, because if you start with the primitive one, you have actually less armor. So you can that's where those normal armor actually become useful. Do I have enough room to put this? I do. So let's. And even if you have one of these, you can even put that. And now you still have 8 tons to play with, which could be your ammo. So, here's why the Artemis really helps in the early game. Let's just put this. We have a 60 alpha strike that we can fire every turn, because the heat is neutral. You have a long range, you have no minimum range, and you have a shit ton of accuracy that you stack on top of one another. You will be ammo hungry though. Now we have 10 alpha strike, and we probably need a case. So let's start with that. There you go. Now if we add more, if we give you stuff that would be available everywhere. I mean, there's plenty of good choices. I like the rangefinder with a build like this, because you want to fire long range. And 5th element detector. What is that? Bruce Willis. Well, you see, that's a good place to check out all the weird stuff that you can find, as we were mentioning. Simple clan, sensor recon. There you go. Actually, let's use the missile range. Yeah. If you can find one of those, plus 20% missile range, absolutely do. I know that you don't have minimum range with the LRM clan, so the minus 50% missile minimum range will not help. However, the plus 20 will help a lot, because it will push every range farther away. So your optimal will no longer be 420 meters, it's going to be 20% more, so it's going to be 500 meter. That means you're going to be less time in extreme range, and you're going to get less penalties to hit by using the missile range sensors. That's where it really truly shines. So now that we have this bad boy, we actually have too much room. I mean, if you don't need this now, but you shouldn't have armor primitive, however. But let's say you don't have all of these parts available, just put in regular armor. That's to counter the primitive. And there you go, you still have 3 tons. Now in my current playthrough, we do have a dervish, and we did build something like this. However, we did not have all the perfect parts that I'm now using. So let's give you some classic stuff. Some very classic stuff. If I would be in the clan primitive start that I've used a lot, this is where I would use active probe, clan as well as Guardian ECM clan, and there you go. And then I would add a case so you don't, you know, explode. There you go. Case 2. There you go. So with this guy right now, you are going to have 300 damage at very good range, and you're gonna stack a lot of accuracy. So the arm accuracy, that's a +1. The Artemis, that's a +1. So you're at 2. The Predator, let's say you're at the +2, you're now at +4 accuracy. And then on top of that, you have 2 evasion ignore. So if you count the evasion ignore as a bonus, because you can expect to your enemy to have at least 2 evasion, you are stacking almost +6 accuracy with this guy from a little primitive boy. That is why the Artemis is so important in the early game. It's my go-to. It's how I survive the clan space with primitive start most of the time. It's thanks to this boy, thanks to the dervish, and thanks to this accuracy stacking. That's when you start seeing great green numbers of I can hit you almost everywhere. Long range, short range, no problem. Okay, so now that we talked about the dervish, how do you ramp this up? Previously I had builds of 120 LRM builds that could fire an entire bin of ammo on every turn. However, with the new attachment, it's not really possible anymore because it required 8 LRM 15, and the 8 tons of attachment is too much and takes more room. So for the next part of this video, we're gonna check out if it is possible to still do 120 LRM for the end game shenanigans. See you in a little bit. Alright, so I went back a bit and selected Assault instead of Medium so that we can have a look at the Assault. And as you can see, there's a bit of few. So those are all the Assault mechs available in Roguetech, all the variants. There's a few, as you can see. So before that, let's take a look. This was my my bad boy, my favorite, which is a Marauder 2 variant. It's one that fires all the rockets and is kind of really annoying if you don't see him coming with all of that. However, this Pirate Marauder 2 comes with 9 hardpoints for missile. So this was the guy I built a lot of my previous LRM build. I mean, if we remove all these, well, I'm gonna strip it. Strip equip. And we're gonna put an engine right away so we can actually work it. So previously I used this guy and I stacked 4 LRM 15 on both sides for an 8 times 15 for 120. That was his purpose. But I don't think we can do that now because of the weapon attachment, but we can maybe try to do it with LRM 20s and see if it is possible. So if we go LRM 20 clan, so we go like this instead of going the 15 route. This means still means that we need 6 tons of attachment, which is what makes it more difficult to make this work. I mean, maybe. All the ammo is gonna have to be in the arms, which is... that too is not the best. But maybe we can make this work, surprisingly. Let's assume for this guy that we have all the good stuff. Oh, there's no room for an Excel now. You see, there's a problem. No room for an Excel. Uh-oh. Okay, Okay. Well, if we don't put an Excel and we try, let's say we have the best available stuff here, and we go something that removes weight like this, and let's say we give you composite to save a lot of weight. You have 8 tons, and let's say we give you an XL here, or maybe even a double XL. No, okay. We have 10 tons. The only difficulty that I see here is that with 340 engine, getting into direct fire range is maybe going to be difficult. However, that is enough room to give you ammo. So maybe it is still possible to do a 120 LRM build. Because you're going to need at least 10 ton of ammo if you want to fire at least 10 Alpha Strike. And it does mean that you're going to be a bit slow, and it does mean that I'm not going to be able to give you alternate ammo type other than 10 times Alpha Strike. Or maybe you can sacrifice, you know, 2 Alpha Strike for different type of LRM ammo. It is possible. But this works in theory. Perhaps it can still be done. I mean, it's a lower engine. Oh, okay, no. Here's the problem. Alpha Strike 120 heat. Ow. We have no more room for anything else. Alright, well, we are going to have dozer blades. Let's go with Exchanger Clan. That's gonna help a bit. Yeah. And let's go prototype. Heatsink kit prototype. Yoinks. So now you have 32 heat delta. Okay. So yeah. This is where we start to encounter problems. Because to truly be able to work and reliably pull the trigger at 120 all the time, you would need at least this. So now we run into the true problem. That you would be a bit too slow. And you would have not enough ammo, not enough heat sinking to truly make this thing. I mean, if we just reduce to by 1, well, now this would work, and you have a 100 LRM boat. But the fun is to have 120, where you fire an entire ton of ammo per Alpha Strike. So alright, so I don't think we can do the 120 like we used to. We have to go down to a 100 LRM. But there is something else that enters the equation, and we're gonna talk about that now. There's a weapon system that I've been using on my Crusader in my main playthrough that I've had a lot of fun using, and it's the Nlrm. The Nlrm weighs more than twice the 20. However, they do twice the damage, or almost. So if instead of doing that, we go that. Now we are over tonnage, but now there is room for this. Bang. So we're going down from our 120 to just 80. However, 2 of these will be firing at 7 damage per. So instead of 620 damage, you will be doing 480, which is less. However, this works. The heat is almost non-existent now. The ammo is no longer a problem. And 480 is still very respectable. I think this would be the build that you can now do instead of the 120. And before we end this episode about the discussion of the LRM, we're going to visit one hero mech that is in theory still the king of missile. This was the boy I used in my last 2 seasons of Roguetech Online because I could stack 8 times the LRM 15. But now that is no longer something viable. Let's go back and visit one of the true monster, if we can find them. Where are you? Okay, I'll find the hero mech in question, and we'll be right back. And there he is. It took me a little while to find it because you have to, in the search parameter, you have to select other. I thought he was considered a hero mech, so it was a while before I could find it. So, let's have a look at you. In my humble opinion, you're still gonna be the king of missile. Why? Well, this right here. +2 accuracy with missile weapon. Increase critical chance with missile weapon. Provide 1 evasion pip ignore with missile weapon. Wow. So yeah, the Jormungandr, if I am pronouncing that well, is still the king. He is still the king. Now let's see if we can make you instead a 80 Nlrm, which would be in theory more damage than our original 120 LRM build. Now we're gonna replace some of these stuff, including your NSS for more weight-saving shenanigans. I'm gonna go optic instead of exchanger. So, weight-saving thingies. The composite is still there, and we'll go some classic ferrofibrous, and we will go maybe even a double XL engine if we can make it fit. And let's put you with 80 Nlrm. Yoinks and yoinks. It fits. And now we have a 580. A 580 range. I think we can make this work. So we need some Artemis attachment again. And now for shit and giggles, let's give you the best one, the Artemis 5. This one is 1.5 ton, but you get 3 evasion ignore. Missile guided, incompatible with Artemis. Alright, well, you got me here. You cannot use Artemis with this. Well. Okay. But if we don't use Artemis with this, we can go missile accuracy. No, we cannot. So you cannot double stack it. That's slightly vexing. It's almost like someone thought I would do exactly that. Can you use this? No, you cannot use any of the additional attachment. Okay. But let's try to build it like this, because it's still an interesting thought experiment. Do you have a turret mount? Do. So we're gonna stack this with it. And we're gonna stack this with it, +1 arm accuracy. Even if you don't use the recoil, you still have the natural +1 arm accuracy, so now it moves to +2. And with your turret mount, you will now have +2 accuracy against these as well. And what we may be able to do is use the fire control system to MK2 to add... No. You're a bastard. You cannot use this one? Not at all. Ugh. It's almost like somebody thought I would do exactly this. Okay. Well then. You could... does indirect work? Indirect does work. So we could flip this around and make this guy accurate at indirect. That could be a thing. So let's add the Engine Excel clan to the equation. Maybe now we could put a better engine to make you go faster. Say something like a 340. There you go. Let's remove the last little laser. Now we need ammo for you. We cannot use Artemis, which was the point of this video, but we kinda got fucked up here. Can you use listen kill? No. You're a bastard. If you cannot use any of the good stuff, there's no reason why we cannot go double bins. So let's use double bins. Oh, for the purpose of this video, let's just put regular bins so we can make it sing. So sadly, maybe the Jormungandr is not going to be the king of missile as I wanted to, because you can no longer stack this with Artemis. We've learned a lesson, and this is why this mechbay is fun, because we can try shit out. So for 80 LRM, you're gonna need a good 8 tons of it. You can insert imagine that these are doubles, so, and you're gonna be alright. The heat is surprisingly, these Nlrm are just 20 heat, which is not a lot. And with a kit and an exchanger, you don't even need heat sink. So you could go like this. You could make a lower engine and more armor. But with something like this, you will get a good 560 with the Nlrm system. So what do you think, guys? This is a new formatted video where we just discuss builds and what we can do with them. thanks to this brand new mechbay feature. Tell me in the comment what you think, what I missed, what I done incorrectly, if I'm an idiot, if I'm a genius. Go ahead, all the information is important. And who do you think now is the king of Nlrms? Right now I'm still undecided because I cannot stack this with the other one, so I'm a bit undecided. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Tell me what else we could try in this format, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.